Hey guys, welcome back to another Strum Chum session. This week, we're going to be doing Killer Queen by Queen. Queen is really not a band that I think of when I think of songs to strum along to, but if I were to pick one Queen song to try to do this with, this would probably be the one. So fair warning, it's a pretty chordy song, but I've adapted it to use a capo on the 3rd fret, so we're going to use as few bar chords as possible while still using all the correct voicings of the original song. So hopefully you'll be able to play along with the original version, but save your wrist a little bit. The form of this song is verse 1, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus, short chorus, guitar solo, long pre-chorus, chorus, and then an outro. So the way I'm going to show this to you is just to go through each one of those sections, and then at the end, we'll put it all together. So starting from the very top of the song, you have 6 snaps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're in on an A minor chord. So to break that down, I'm starting out the song on an A minor and I'm palm muting to kind of mimic the dampened piano sound that is at the beginning of the song. In order to do that, I just rest the inside of my hand near the bridge on the strings while I'm striking the strings. So it sounds like this. As for the chords, this is just your basic open A minor. And then G over B, I'm going to talk about this one for a second because it's going to come up a lot in the song. There's a few different ways to play a G chord. And the way that I tend to play it in this particular song is to put my 3rd finger on the root note on a G, my 2nd finger on a B on the A string, and then use my pinky up high. A lot of bluegrassers do this. It's an easier way to get into and out of a G, I think, than what you'll see a lot of times, which is people playing it like this. But for example, in this song, moving from this A minor to this G over B, it's right there then. It's a much smaller move than an A minor like this to a G like this. The other thing to point out about that chord is it's a G being played over a B bass note. So in this moment, I'm actually using my 3rd finger to mute that bass string. So I'm just getting this part of the chord, starting with the B here. So, to play that part slowly again for you, the first 4 bars go like this. And then just your regular C chord. Moving on, this is where things start to get a little more interesting. So we have a C chord, followed by that same G over B, followed by a C7 with a B flat in the bass note, which I would play this way. And then an F bar chord, followed by an F minor. Then we're going to play a C chord, but we're going to put a G on top. It's a really pretty chord. And then we're going to just play a regular G. So that's, like I said, you'll see me playing Gs like this, but you can also feel free to play it this way too if you want. That whole section one more time goes like this. Open it up here. And a quick note on that strum pattern, I'm just trying to imitate the piano part. So to me, what that sounds closest to is doing the bass note with a downstroke, and then I hit the next string above that with an upstroke, hit the remaining strings with a downstroke, then come back up and hit that string with an upstroke. So all together, starting with that C, in bar 5, it goes like this. And then apply that same pattern to the G over B, then to the C7 over B flat, and then F, F minor, G or C over G. Now we're at the pre-chorus. So you have an open E, A minor, G using that same fingering we discussed before, C, B7 like this, then E minor and D. And I use that same rhythm I was just discussing with you during the pre-chorus too. So down, up, down, up. So playing verse 1 into the pre-chorus sounds like this. We're at the chorus. You'll also notice I threw in a little run there that you hear in the piano coming out of the G into the pre-chorus, and all that is G, A, B, and then you're on that E. So I just do downstroke, downstroke, upstroke, bam. 1, 2, 3. So you can throw that in there too if you want. Okay, now for the chorus. Chorus goes like this. So to break that down, we have a G. I kind of switch up how I play the G in the chorus because I'm going from this into a B minor. I actually tend to use this fingering more often. It's a little prettier having that D in there versus the open B. So play G, B minor, E minor, B minor, E minor, F sharp, B minor, E7, and I stop the sound after each one of those strums because they're kind of hits, and then an A, and then here's the tricky part, you gotta do an A to a G pretty quickly. And then F sharp 7, so we're just doing that same F sharp shape, taking off our pinky. And then here, adapting this for acoustic, I just play a D, 2, 3, and then this voicing of a D9 chord. And then one hit on E before we're back into verse 2. Verse 2 is the exact same as verse 1. So we can just play it through it again real quick, get it stuck in your head. It sounds like this. So now we are back to a pre-chorus again. Exact same as before. And then we have our short chorus. So using most of the same chords as the previous chorus, it sounds like this. Now, everyone's favorite, the guitar solo. I'm not going to go into that in this lesson. I will make a separate lesson that has the entirety of Brian May's actual guitar parts. And so that'll be in a different video that I'll link to down below. So if you want to learn that, I'll show you that there. Otherwise, you can just hum it, and that's fun too. So here we go, the chords for the guitar solo. Skip it a bit. So breaking that down, we start on an F sharp to B minor, F sharp, B minor, open E to A minor, E to A minor, and then here I'm just kind of imitating the sound of the call and response between the band and the guitar. So I'm playing a regular D, and then a D9, then a regular D, D9, and then here you have the option to either just strum a D chord, or if you want it to sound a little closer to what they do in the original, you can do a D9, D diminish, and then take this regular D and slide it up. So, oops, slid a little far there, but also if that slide is tricky for you, because I know this is not the most natural position to play a D, you can play a normal D like this, and then just hit this on the upstroke. So, and then after that, we're just back to our verse chords we already know. You guys know this whole part. And now we're on the long pre-chorus. It sounds like this. Chorus. So to break that down, we have an E, A minor, E, A minor, G, C, G, C, B7, E minor, D, G, D, G minor, D, and then just a short bar of 2, or we have a triplet quarter, and now we're at the chorus. And this last chorus goes like this. And now we're at the outro. The outro is a little weird to do as a solo guitar player. You can kind of strum a D for a while. Something like that. You can also imitate the piano part by doing this. Or you can just skip it. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so I'm going to play it now along with you guys from the beginning through to the end so we can see it in its entirety and practice it together. From the top. solo. Long pre-chorus. And there you have it. I will include a link to the PDF so you guys can check out the chords and the chord diagrams there if you don't feel like watching this video in its entirety. So check that out, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.